Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to be doing my updated Royal Paladin Jewel Knight deck. This is an updated one that includes some of the cards from my previous video for the Mega Trial deck unboxing. Mainly the new Jewel Knights that were included in there, the male Jewel Knights, as well as the foil card is also in here. So I guess, let me go in, yeah. So the starter is Dreaming Jewel Knight Tiffany. The Jewel Knight starter, it's okay. It's Jewel Knight. Jewel Knight overall is really not as impressive as I thought they'd be, but they're still a pretty fun deck to play as. So next we have 4 Ardent Jewel Knight Poly, the heal trigger. I think this is one of the coolest looking heal triggers in the game. Has a lot of color, just really stands out. Next, 4 draw triggers, Devoting Jewel Knight Tabitha. And then 4 Blazing Jewel Knight Rachel, the critical trigger. And then 4 Jewel Knight Glitme, or yeah. The reason why I'm running the stands is because the Jewel Knight, they don't have a second critical trigger. And if you want to be able to pull off the special counterblasts, you need that stand trigger just for the consistency. I do the exact same thing with my Sealed Dragon deck that you may have seen in a previous video, which is one of my favorite decks. And that way I don't have to worry about whether I can pull off my special counterblast effects. So I apply the same reasoning to the Jewel Knights and it works out fine. So for grade 1s, 4 Jewel Knight Prizmy. Prizmy is your basic discard to draw a card, discard to draw a card when it's placed on R, and you have a Jewel Knight Vanguard. Or actually, no. For Jewel Knight, it's not about the Vanguard being a Jewel Knight. It's more about having a bunch of rear guards that are Jewel Knights. So it's kind of like the Prisms or certain Bermuda Triangle and Gold Paladin and Royal Paladin deck types. So this card is good because it can help you get out of grade lock situations. And it's a Jewel Knight, so we run the max copies of 4. Next, a new guy from the trial deck, or the royalty Mega Trial deck. This is the guy, this is Regret Jewel Knight Urien. Basic, Counterblast 1, gain 1,000 power or attack. So just 2 copies of them as filler because they're Jewel Knights. 4 Stinging Jewel Knight Shellie. This is your 10k attacker when you have Jewel Knights. You have to have 3 or more Jewel Knights on the field other than this one, so you basically have to have like 4 Jewel Knight rear guards. And then 4 Flashing Jewel Knight Iseult, the Sentinel for the Jewel Knights. This is the second Royal Paladin Sentinel that they've got. So that's the grade 1s. Next, moving on to grade 2s. Well, I tucked in 1 Knight of Silence Gallatin, just because he's 10k vanilla, and I have a rare one, so I just threw him in. And also 1 Battle Flag Knight Constance. This is from the Mega Trial deck, from Daigo's deck. He's good because he allows you to superior call a Royal Paladin grade 1 or less when his attack hits a Vanguard. And he can pull off this effect regardless whether he's a Vanguard or a rear guard. So I just teched him in, not running too many copies because, again, like I said, going back to the reason why I'm running the stand triggers, you want to have Jewel Knights in the damage zone if you want to be able to not worry too much about the consistency of your special counterblasting in mid to late game. So that's why I'm keeping the non-Jewel Knight cards to a minimum. So just 1 Gallatin, 1 Constance, and then 1 Pathetic Jewel Knight Olwen from the trial deck. So these are kind of like my tech choices, and one of them being a Jewel Knight, so it doesn't detract too much from the consistency of the sub-clan. Next, 4 Fellowship Jewel Knight Tracie. This is your 12k rearguard attacker when you have 3 or more Jewel Knights. Have to be other rearguard Jewel Knights. And then next we have 4 Dogmatize Jewel Knight Sybill. This is the RR grade 2. It allows you to search your deck for a grade 1 or less Jewel Knight. So it's kind of like this guy. Only difference is this guy has the hit, and it can be any Royal Paladin. So he works in a generic deck, whereas this is specifically Jewel Knight only. And it's when it's placed on VRR. So it's a lot easier to pull off this card's effect. Moving on to the grade 3s. Let's see, I'm running 4 Pure Heart Jewel Knight Ashlei. This is the break ride for the Royal Paladin. And it's a little disappointing because really all it does, it's the most generic break ride there is. All you do is you ride this with limit break 4, and that Vanguard gets 10,000 plus 10,000 plus 1 critical, and that's all it gets. So it's a pretty boring break ride card, to be honest. It doesn't have a whole lot of effects. That's all it does. And it also has the effect when it's the Vanguard and when it attacks, it gets plus 2,000. So they kind of gave it the secondary effect that a lot of break ride cards get, which is a pretty good one. It's the same one that Dauntless Drive has, I believe. And then next I have 1 Sanctuary Guard Dragon. I just chose to put this in, see how good it is. Just 1 copy from the trial deck. I took out 1 of the other card which I'm running, which is the main Vanguard of the deck, Leading Jewel Knight Salome. Or Salome. Yeah, so 3 Salome and 1 Sanctuary Guard Dragon. Originally I was running 4 of these. But then I got this, so I took 1 out. The main reason why is I don't like this card because it's a 10k Vanguard. And this guy's 11k, and he has a pretty good effect. So that was basically the deck. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, stay tuned for more Vanguard, Yu-Gi-Oh!, as well as future card Buddy Fight. As always, guys, rate, comment, subscribe. Thanks.